So what are the common barrier transfer student experience when they transfer into the university?
I think the biggest one is navigating the four-year institution. So it is navigating the whole process of how to be a part of a four-year institution and the resources involved in studying that type of coursework.
All right. So as a student affairs professional, how do you meet their needs?
I think it's making sure that you are actively listening to what the student needs and just being aware of underlying themes that might be going on in the background. So while listening and advising them, kind of thinking about what other things they might be taking into consideration in their coursework, other things that they might be dealing with mental health-wise because it's a different type of course load, those type of things. And being aware, just being aware, I think.
Okay. In what ways do transfer students become involved on campus?
Oh, yes. So they become involved quite a bit in on-campus jobs and internships. Transfer students are usually the most involved, I find, just because they kind of hit the ground running compared to first-year students. So first-year students are more lost, whereas transfer students kind of understand a little bit more about what it's like to take college courses. So transfer students are looking for more professional development opportunities, and that's why they would come to the Career Center.
In your opinion, why do community college transfer students attend this particular university?
I think the appeal of the commuter campus is a big appeal because you can commute during the day here, and then at night you could go and you could work, or vice versa. I think that's a big appeal here because I know a lot of students don't stay here all day, and the ones who do stay here, they're only here all of Tuesday, and if they're here all of Tuesday, they're getting a lot of stuff done all of Tuesday, so they're also in the different types of resources they are participating in, like clubs and organizations, or they're going to tutoring, that type of thing too.
How would you describe your institution?
How would I describe Cal State Fullerton? I would say that we are, like I said, a commuter campus, a campus that our student population is very diverse. We have students that are mainly first generation, mainly from Latino and Hispanic background. And then I would also say that a large majority of our students are returning or adult students. So they are that transfer age, or they are returning back to school. So that's a big part of our population that we serve here.
Okay, so how do you define student academic success? So in terms of GPA or their involvement on campus, or how do you define it?
I think it's a mixture of both. I think the biggest thing with student success is what the student finds successful. So for the student, if they are more into professional experience, then maybe they want to get more hands-on experiential learning experiences, like they can study abroad, or they can participate in a club or organization where they can get that hands-on experience. They can also participate in research, or if they're more into grades, then that's fine too, because we also have different opportunities with faculty members. There's also tutoring services, peer mentorships, things where you can get involved more with the academic side too. But I think with student success, there's no one way to define it. I think it's mainly up to the student to define what they find successful, because that's what college is about. It's about your own journey.
All right. What academic barriers have you noticed transfer student experiencing?
So I think the biggest one is, besides transitioning into a four-year institution, I think the biggest one would be a drop in their GPA and kind of that challenge their first semester when they had been used to either having a perfect GPA or a near perfect GPA. Now they're challenged with how to bring up their GPA from like their coursework that they're currently doing, which is not necessarily GEs anymore, and now it's more suited towards their major, how to navigate, how to bring back up their GPA, that kind of thing, and what resources are available to them to help them with that.
All right, so how do you think other staff and faculties view transfer student?
So I was actually talking with one of my faculty members the other day, and I'm about to TA for his class this upcoming fall, and he actually told me that the transfer students in his class are actually the most engaged in the class, and he was very surprised at first, but now he's gotten used to the transfer students being very engaged in the class, and he looks forward to having more transfer students in the future. So I think it's a mixture. It kind of depends on the staff or faculty member, but I think in general, I think for me, I'm always impressed with transfer students, but I think, like I said, it's a mixture.
Okay. So how often do you engage with transfer student? Is it through orientation, or workshop, or outreach?
I think that I engage a lot with them currently in workshops or here in the Career Center at drive-thru. That's a lot of the time where I engage with them. I'm helping them with their resume, and I see that they have their associate for transfer or their associate degree on there, and I talk to them about their community college experience a little bit briefly. And we talk about communicating that coursework from their community college onto their resume, that type of thing. But that's when I usually engage with transfer students.
Okay. To what degree do you feel transfer students experience transfer shock during their first semester at the institution?
I don't know. I really don't know. That would be something that I'd like to know more about.
Okay. What are some of the resources that you notice that transfer students utilize the most?
I think the biggest thing is they come to us thinking that we're the advising center, and I think that they are used to having a lot of things in one location, so they think that we are the advising center, but we inform them that no, that's located in a different location, and that sometimes there's also advising opportunities within their college, so we inform them of their student success team, or of other types of opportunities like peer mentorship, or even other types of resources on campus that are available to them with their student success. So I think that, yeah, they just are involved in a different way.
Okay, so what do you think about the campus climate here?
In terms of what?
In terms of how, is it student-centered? Is it outcome-oriented? Is it more,
I think it's a mixture. So I think there are programs that are more student organized, but I wouldn't say the entire campus is student organized. It's not geared towards students, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, because I've been on a campus where literally everything is geared towards students, and I wouldn't say here is completely.
Mm-hmm. Are you aware of any policies that have been implemented to help transfer students?
I'm not.
Okay, sounds good. So what do you think about transfer student expectation when they transfer into the university level?
Can you say that one more time? Sorry.
What do transfer students typically expect when they transfer into the university?
I think that it's a mixture again. I think a lot of people think that a degree automatically relates to a job, and so I think that transfer students might also feel like a degree automatically relates to a job sometimes, and so they want to engage immediately with that real world experience. So that might be an expectation that they hold early on, is they want to engage in early opportunities to have real world experience.
Okay. So in your role, how do you help them to adjust or improve those expectations?
I think it is sitting down with the students who come in and see us, and managing those expectations of when they have the moments where they are talking about applying and not getting any calls back, talking about why they might not be getting calls back and talking through that, maybe giving them some suggestions on their resume, how they can better gear that towards those positions they're looking at applying for, adding relevant coursework that they've already engaged in, and then also maybe talking about networking opportunities here on campus with different clubs and organizations that they can get involved with to give them that volunteer opportunity that could lead to a professional position later on. That could be a good stepping stone for them too.
Okay. So do you find that their expectations oftentimes overshadow the reality?
I think it really just depends on the student. I wouldn't say I would put everyone in the same box, because I think that's ultimately unfair.
Okay. So we'll talk about wellness. What type of wellness services does this campus have?
Well, there's CAPS. That's the biggest one. So that's our counseling and psychological services. So they offer at least one counseling appointment on campus. The problem with CAPS, though, is if you do need more help, you have to seek outside triage, which is not always the best. There is other opportunities for wellness on campus. I think if you want to get involved with a club or organization, there's a lot of opportunities for self-care that way by meeting like-minded individuals, but you do have to seek that out. Another thing, if you do need more wellness, there's the Diversity and Inclusion Resource Center. That is another opportunity, as well as the Women's Center, the Adult Reentry Center, and then the Men's Institute. I believe that, I can't remember exactly what it's called, but yeah, there's a lot of different resources on campus. The issue with that is you've got to seek them all out. Outside of knowing what CAPS is, so it's whether or not you know what those resources are.
Okay, so our last question is, for your role, how or what type of resources do you provide to help promote wellness among transfer students?
So if I do have a student that's in some sort of crisis, it's a matter of talking to them about what their needs are in that exact moment. If it's something that I believe I could handle with, just talking them through their resume and kind of calming them down with that, usually that seems to work with most of the students I attend to. I haven't had a situation where I need to walk a student over to CAPS, but I am willing to walk a student over to CAPS if necessary. I have actually provided students with resources where I actually go on Titan Link and I show them different clubs and organizations on campus so that they're able to see hey, there's other institutions and organizations here on campus that you could join with like-minded individuals. So I have done that before. But yeah, I think it's all up to the student to kind of communicate either verbally or non-verbally what type of crisis they might be in, and kind of just being aware and actively listening to that student so that you can help them the best way possible.
All right, so thank you for coming in today, and that concludes our interview. Do you have any questions for me?
Nope.
All right, thank you for coming.
Thank you.